Devil May Cry, the series that's mainly known for its stylish gameplay, lovable characters, and power. But what if there was something deeper about how power is displayed in these games? Not from a gameplay or coolness perspective, but from a story perspective. What makes the idea of power such a pivotal theme in the DMC franchise? That's what I'm going to talk about today. Is there something deeper to the idea of power? Well, as usual, that's what I'm here for. So, allow me to hyper-analyze the theme of power in DMC. So sit back and relax, and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Alright, enough wasting time, let's get into it. Now, how would you describe the idea of power? I'm sure you would say that it's when characters use strong, cool looking shit to do shit, which is technically correct, but I think power can be defined in terms of how it's used. Can it be used for good or evil or anything in between? Yeah, not the professional answer you were looking for, but I think this definition can be applied to any piece of fiction with any sort of power. Not just series with supernatural abilities, but any other series, like crime, drama, you name it. And this, of course, applies to DMC in many ways. The advent of power and how the characters use it. The most obvious character that pops into your head when you hear DMC and power is this guy. Ah yes, Vergil. The character that most people associate with power, since he's a very cool character that seeks power, obviously. But what if it's more than just seeking power, and rather something deep inside of him that compels him to attain this power? Yes, his trauma. That day, that event that begun his conquest of power, when his house was attacked by the demons. Mundus, it's shown in the DMC5 manga that when Dante and Vergil were still children, and Vergil was in the woods by himself, whilst Dante and Eva were in the house, it was suddenly attacked. As we see in DMC5, Eva managed to get Dante to safety, from which he later fled from the attack, but unfortunately, she was unable to find Vergil, who was all alone in the woods, surrounded by hundreds of demons that nearly beat him to death, until he managed to summon the Yamato, where he effortlessly defeated all the demons that were attacking him, and that day mentally scarred him. Why? Well, he believed that back then he was weak, which, to be fair, he was, and he couldn't do anything about it. So what does he do? He vows to seek more power, not just to protect himself but others. He even somewhat alluded to this in his first fight with Dante in DMC3.
Foolishness, Dante. Foolishness. Might controls everything, and without strength, you cannot protect anything, let alone yourself.
In the beginning, when he was on his whole quest for power, he did it to protect himself and the people he cared about. Unfortunately, as time went on, that goal of wanting to protect himself and others eventually faded into an unhealthy obsession with getting power. He put the idea of attaining power over why he even started to gain power in the first place, and he changes into this cold-hearted person that will even kill his own comrade once their use has been fulfilled, or even wishing to use his own brother's blood if it means he gets to obtain more power and destroying the world around him, which Dante stops in the end. His quest for power never stopped here, as in DMC 5, when he comes back, he splits himself into both Urizen and V. Urizen representing his demon half, and V his human half. Urizen is shown as this all-powerful, gigantic-like demon with no sense of humanity, whilst V is shown as this sickly, weak, skinny man whose main goal is to reunite himself with his demon side. Urizen is the culmination of Vergil's unhealthy conquest for power, building up to form the demon, whilst also putting aside his human side as he deems it weak. This demon even ponders why someone like Dante is able to best him in combat, with Dante replying,
"Not about loss. Strength is a choice. Fight or kill to protect what's important. You threw away everything you had. Wondering about your true power."
And that causes Urizen to visibly seethe with anger. Bested by the one person he wishes to destroy the most. Oh, and speaking of Dante, he also embodies the idea of power than a lot of people realize. As shown with the DMC 5 clip, Dante believes that power, or strength, is a choice, and you use it to protect what's right, completely contrasting Vergil's idea of power. Dante has always believed in using power to protect those you love the most, and what's right. However, he wasn't always like this. In the first half of DMC 3, Dante never really cared about what was right. It was more of a, I want to find my brother just because, and that's it. And at this stage, Dante never wanted to accept his demon side, even saying that he doesn't have a father. Fatherless behavior, am I right?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
It was only after he unlocked Devil Trigger where he truly began to understand the meaning of power in his own terms. Knowing that his own brother and, Arkham, were gonna potentially destroy the world, he needed this newfound power, because without it, everyone's doomed. And he doesn't want that. So he comes to terms with his demon side, embracing it in the end, knowing what power means, and eventually stopping his brother from destroying the world at large. So Dante's quest for power allowed him to develop into the character we all know and love, and that idea has been carried forth in every game he's in afterwards, protecting those who are worthy of being protected, and what is right, no matter what. Even Nero shares this idea of power. Nero has been shown to be a mix of Dante and Vergil's personalities, being cocky or snarky in most fight season, but wanting to end things quickly so he can move on with his day. He's also been shown to hold the idea of power, similar to both Dante and Vergil. After unlocking his pseudo Devil Trigger form in DMC 4, he talks about how he's wanted this kind of power for so long, but was unable to attain it, until now, at least. Not for any evil reasons, but to be able to protect her, Kyrie. It shows that, like Vergil, his goal is to obtain more power, but unlike Vergil, and like Dante, he wants to protect the people around him he loves and cares for. So that mix of two personalities comes into play. It's expanded him even more in DMC 5, before Nero unlocks DT. He talks to Kyrie on the phone about how he now has a family, with Dante and Vergil being his uncle and father respectively. He doesn't know what to do with this information, with Kyrie responding with,
"You always know which path is right and which is wrong." no need to doubt yourself.
Thanks. I guess that's all I needed to hear. I have one last thing to take care of. And then I'm coming home.
It all becomes clear to Nero. He couldn't protect Credo and hates himself that he didn't have enough strength, just like Vergil, who at the start wanted to use his power to protect himself and others, ultimately becoming an unhealthy obsession. But this time is different. Nero wishes to use any form of power he can get to protect his loved ones, which he gets in the form of DT, just like Dante. Now, with this newfound power, he stops his two new family members from murdering each other, and in the end, squashes this beef that these two have had for decades now. In the end, Nero managed to finally accomplish what he's wanted to do for so long, using power to care and protect others, and Dante and Vergil even learn from this, in their own ways at least. Now everyone understands what power truly means, one of the themes the franchise has been building up for so long, making its mark in the 5th entry of the series, and is truly something to see. Power has been a core theme to the DMC franchise. Canonically, the idea of power and what it means is shown in the beginning with Dante and Vergil having their own ideas of power, and over the course of the 5 games, the theme gets expanded on, culminating to what is shown in DMC 5, where we get a true answer as to what power is. Something you use to protect those around you that you care about, and what's right. And that's how power is a pivotal theme in DMC, and one of the stepping stones that makes its stories even more enjoyable. If you did enjoy this, why not like and subscribe? Helps push me to create more videos like this. So, with that being said, dear viewer,